It's spelled traitor, not traitor, by Jack of all trades. Chapter 14, Turncoat. Izuku's next day was spent seeing his usual clients at Yue's loaned office. The lack of students and heroes was easily explained. All hands had been requisitioned to hunt down the remnants of the villains' alliance. They'd been cornered in a single district, and the heroes were closing in, searching for the specific building they were housed in. When the final confrontation was nigh, Yue closed its doors to visitors. They did not want opportunistic villains to take advantage of Yue's emptiness, as every hero mustered around the villains' alliance last holdout, which left Izuku and Inko alone at Yue. The perfect opportunity for Izuku to duplicate his clone-switching routine so that he could attend the battle as he had promised. But first he had someone to visit, one last quirk to steal. The warehouse was empty, one gigantic staging area. The silence was shattered by a sucking sound as a black swirling cloud appeared, and a well-suited figure stepped out of it encased in the same dark purple mist with glowing yellow eyes.
Young Master Izuku,
Kurogiri cut a polite bow.
I had assumed you would be here. Master Tomura is throwing a fit that you have not appeared yet.
You know me so well, Kurogiri. Izuku nodded. The heroes would certainly launch their attack if I teleported into their midst. Better to use your portals. They're much more familiar with those.
Operating every angle, I see.
Yes, indeed. Without further ado, Izuku darted forward, snatching Kurogiri's metal neckpiece. As the living shadow began to protest, Izuku extracted the portal quirk from his subordinate. I do apologize, Kurogiri. Izuku sighed as the tall man slumped into his shoulder, the purple haze drifting away to reveal his true form. You've been such a loyal man, but you've always been Tomura's mentor. I'm afraid I can't allow you to aid his escape this time. Izuku gently set Kurogiri's body on the ground and opened a swirling portal into the Villains Alliance base. He emerged to see Shigaraki huddled under a table, Himiko behind an overturned couch, and twice reclining under a window. What even is... Izuku's answer was swiftly answered when he felt a sharp jolt to his side. He turned his head to see a flattened bullet clatter to the ground.
Huh! Those cheaters! Shigaraki screeched. Fucking campers!
Izuku strolled to the window, twice had positioned himself under, as a grape-sized steel ball bearing bounced off his forehead.
Hey, boss! Twice chuckled. They got doctors out there. Those bastards and their needles. I don't want to take my shots.
Izuku stuck his head out the window to see the gun hero Snipe and Uraraka with her new slingshot atop a building across the street taking punch shots at windows. He noticed Snipe zero in on him as he swapped ammunition in his pistol. The gun hero took a snapshot at Izuku, whose reflexes snatched the projectiles out of the air. He strolled behind the wall as he inspected what he had caught. A syringe bullet. Something he hadn't seen often after the heroes had dealt with the 8 precepts of death. Sneaky, sneaky, Izuku muttered, stabbing the needle into a wall and watching the concoction inside seep into the drywall. They really want me alive, don't they?
Izuku!
Shigaraki whined.
They've got us pinned, and they kill my phones. I can't coordinate a siege like this. Deal with it.
You really are helpless without me, aren't you, Shigaraki? Izuku sighed. Fine. The young criminal made his way back to the window facing the heroes. He didn't have to wait long before another ball bearing came flying at him. Instead of letting it impact, Izuku snatched it out of the air like he had the syringe and, utilizing a skill he had learned from one of Shigaraki's forays into tabletop gaming, flung the shot right back. Snipe had been in the process of loading his gun when it was suddenly knocked out of his hand. The barrel bent and dented.
You fucking monk bitch asshole! I saw that!
Shigaraki crowed. You should be proud. I learned it from you. Now, go do what you can to organize everyone. I'll go down to stall the heroes a bit longer.
Oh boy, Dwarf Fortress finally got a graphics upgrade.
Shigaraki groaned.
Whatever. We'll be ready for the cleanup after you wipe the smug smirks from their stupid faces. Yeah, go break a leg.
Twice pumped a fist.
And an arm. Maybe your neck too.
Only Himiko seemed pensive. Izuku, you're going to be okay? You'll come back to me like you promised? The mastermind turned to her with a soft smile. Of course, Yumi-chan. And with that, Izuku let himself lean back and he dropped out of the window. With a twist and a dropping strike, he landed in the center of the street between the line of heroes and the headquarters of the Villains Alliance, stomping a crater into the asphalt and kicking up a cloud of dust. The dust covered Izuku, activating Candyman and releasing cockroaches onto the ground to skitter to and fro. When Izuku stood, he took stock of the line of heroes and utilized Ragdoll's search to keep track of them all. Frontline fighters like Bakugo and Kirishima, as well as Fat Gum and Death Fist, had taken positions in front of the base's doors, and there were clear signs of fighting in the entryway. The scorch marks in the hero's cover indicated Dabi had been holding them off. When Bakugo turned to see the newest distraction, he froze at the sight of Izuku's frock of messy green hair. His eyes grew wide, and his hand clenched to keep from shaking. On the other side of the street stood more heroes, the UA teachers and students, Todoroki, Jiro, Yaoyorozu, Kaminari, and the rest of 1A, Kendo, Manga, Monoma, and 1B, President Mike, Cementos, Eraserhead, Midnight, Nezu, and next to Nezu was Sir Night-Eye. Various heroes were scattered about. Mount Lady was stood on one corner of the street to cut off runners, and Kamui Wood was opposite her to aid in the endeavor. Speaking of endeavor, Izuku was pleased to note that he was conspicuously absent from the standoff. Lemillion was biding his time, waiting for the time to strike. Well, Izuku began donning his villain persona. Look at this fine gathering of heroes. Come like barbarians to knock down the gates of Rome. Nobody chuckled. Aizawa was the first to act. He leapt over the heads of those in front of him with a flip, flinging his capture scarf at Izuku. He felt one of his quirks go dead as he allowed himself to be wrapped in the scarf.
You will stop us from dismantling your organization, all for one.
Aizawa grunted as he landed, already lunging to land a punch with his momentum. Oh, please. Didn't I tell you all? Izuku shook his head. He flexed his arms against the scarf and burst their wrappings apart. I'm not all for one. Izuku could see Aizawa's eyes go wide behind his goggles as he could not arrest his forward lunge. I'm just nobody. Izuku grabbed Aizawa's fist and yanked him forward. Aizawa turned the pull into a roll, snatching his arm out of Izuku's grasp and using it as a counterbalance to sweep his feet. Izuku bunny-hopped over the swinging leg and kicked out in the air. Aizawa flipped out of the way and flung the capture gear once more. This time, instead of allowing himself to be wrapped, Izuku grabbed the strands of nanofiber scarf and used them to reel in Aizawa. Really sorry about this, Eraserhead. Izuku apologized, reaching his hand out and clasping Aizawa's face. It's just, you've got such a useful quirk, so I gotta borrow it for a bit. Before Izuku could work his quirk on Aizawa, however, the hero was snatched from his grasp. He followed his trajectory and subsequently the tongue that had grabbed the hero back to Froppy, the frog hero. I was wondering when someone else was going to join the fun. Really, letting a single hero try to take me on? Not good use of your resources. Well, I'm wasting time anyway. Gotta buy some breathing room after all.
Buy time? Ducko, you traitor! What the hell are you playing at?
Bakugo shouted, finally getting over the shock of seeing his erstwhile friend in person. Izuku tizzed at Bakugo, waving his finger disapprovingly at the nuclear hero. Didn't you hear me, Kachan? You always said I'd be a nobody, and I took that to heart. I'm not Deku anymore, and I'm certainly not Midoriya Izuku either. I'm nobody. A blast of dark fire blew out the front door of the old hotel. And that's my signal. Have fun storming the castle. Izuku teleported into Shigaraki's command room. Hey, base commander, how's the tower defense going?
Excellent.
Two Shigarakis responded. One had been scratching at the back of his neck, his fingernails bloody as he picked at himself and tore old scabs open. The other stood swaying and limp. Nice, nice. I like your decoys. I imagine Twice has littered some all around the base.
Gotta cover our bases. When you need something done right, do it yourself.
The bleeding Shigaraki responded. The sound of an explosion resounded through the building. Fantastic idea, Tomura! Hey, Hime-chan, can I borrow you for a moment?
No.
The swaying Shigaraki pouted behind the hand over his face and put his hands on his waist, cocking it to one side.
How'd you know it was me this time?
Tomura doesn't just stand around and stare at people. He's a man of action.
Damn right I am.
Shigaraki grunted.
But something's wrong. I found a phone and tried to call our emergency exit. He's not picking up.
I'm sure there's a very good reason for that. Come along, Himiko. You're integral to my plan to distract the heroes and make it easier to pick off enemies.
You know I love being your pawn, Izuku.
Himiko bounced forward in a gesture that was entirely alien with Shigaraki's body. I know you do. I'll be right back, Tomura. Izuku took hold of Himiko by the shoulder and the two dropped out of existence. It was odd, though, and Shigaraki noticed. Instead of silently disappearing, the two had sunk out of sight with a whoosh. He knew why Izuku could pull his usual vanishing act. The teleporting quirk was actually a space-trading quirk. Izuku swapped places with the air or an object at a distance. He had never taken a passenger before because the quirk was limited to his form. When Shigaraki went to look down where the two had been standing, he caught the final wisps of black smoke dissipating from one of Kurogiri's portals. The coordinators of the hero assault were surprised when a portal opened behind them.
That's one of the village portals,
Nezu shouted.
They're attacking from behind.
Several heroes surrounded the portal, but were not confronted by a strike team as they had expected, but with nobody
and Shigaraki.
Why, hello, heroes. Mind if I propose a trade? This one for midnight. Great, thanks. Nobody tossed Shigaraki to the ground, who was just as stunned as the heroes.
What are you doing?
Shigaraki's voice trembled like a lost little girl's. Oh, don't you worry, Hime-chan. Pawns are meant to be sacrificed after all. Some intrepid heroes finally jumped into action and fitted Shigaraki with restraints and quirk suppressants, only to find that he dissolved into a naked young girl in their hands, her eyes prickling with tears. No, Midnight, I apologize in advance for this. Nobody pointed a finger at her. Why do you want me? To steal my quirk? No, because I don't want to get naked. Excuse. Close beam! Midnight's shriek and the telltale hissing of her quirk being activated was cut off when she was swallowed by a dark portal, hiding her dissolved clothing from her comrades. What have you done with her? Nezu asked. Oh, I'm just disarming the whole villain's alliance for you. No need to thank me. They were just causing problems anyway. Bring her back! Yayorozu exclaimed, extracting a steel rod from her arm. Yeah, give me a moment. Izuku looked at his wrist, bare of watch. She should be back right about now. A portal opened some distance from the gathered heroes, leaking Nemuri's quirk mist. Before the portal could close, Izuku pointed his fingers at it. Close beam! The portal dissipated from the beam of white energy, leaving Midnight splayed on the ground in her hero costume. Easily my most metro quirk. You pervert! Midnight cried, covering herself with her arms. Ragdoll's quirk allowed Izuku to know that the heroes had pulled back. They started calling to each other about the villain's collapse and of seeing Midnight being flung naked from room to room by portals. Izuku clapped his hands together to dust them off. A job well done, everyone. Thank you for your collaboration.
Izuku!
Came a muffled screech from the hotel. One last loose end to tie up. Excuse me, would you? Izuku teleported to the middle of the street and watched as Shigaraki, in a gas mask, vaulted himself to the ground.
Izuku, you fucking traitor! What the hell are you playing at?
Shigaraki demanded, advancing on his traitorous companion. Why, Tomura, you sound just like Kachan! Nobody exclaimed.
I'll kill you!
Shigaraki lunged his hand and grasped Izuku's face, eager to finally see it crumble to dust. But nothing happened. You really are a cool hero, Eraserhead. Izuku smiled. Don't think you're off the hook, nobody. Eraserhead said, eyes gleaming red behind his goggles, his quirk making his hair float against gravity.
We can't put you on trial if you're dead.
You!
Shigaraki slowly pulled his hand back from Izuku's smug face.
You're a cheater! Fine! I'll finish this the old-fashioned way.
He reeled back with a fist. Oh, this is definitely the end. You're gonna love the irony of how I finished this. Izuku smirked up at Shigaraki. Die! Izuku sidestepped Shigaraki's fist, and as the disintegrating villain's momentum carried him forward, a gloved fist rocketed through the space that the nape of Izuku's neck had occupied and impacted Shigaraki's chin. With the power behind the blow, Shigaraki was launched through the air where he hung for a dramatic moment before he collapsed unconscious in a heap on the street. Izuku took in Lemillion's stance. Well, it was no United States of Smash, but it did the job. Well done. I'll leave the cleanup to you heroes.
We'll clean up, all right?
Lemillion snarled.
You won't be getting away so easily this time. We have some unfinished business, you and I.
Ah, please. You don't really have a way to keep me here. I could leave anytime I want to.
And yet you stay.
Lemillion countered. Because you know we will never stop hunting you. You may be impervious to physical violence, but a true hero doesn't have to resolve things with his fists. So let's talk. Izuku blinked. Well, I certainly hadn't expected you to take that line of thought. Very well, Lemillion. Let us parley. Actually, before we start, Izuku opened a portal underneath himself and sunk into it. He kept an eye on the situation using his bugs as he prepared his surprise. He could hear Bakugo in the background screaming about how no good fucking Deku ran away again as Nezu and the emaciated All Might pattered up to Lemillion.
He's left. You're confident he'll be back?
Yagi had questioned Nezu. From what we've seen, he is a man of his word. He said Lemillion would get a better chance here today and invoked parley. He'll be back.
It's difficult to hold back like this, but it's for the best.
Yagi clapped a hand to Muriel's shoulder.
You're doing well, my boy. It takes a lot of guts and a sharp mind to do as you've done.
I just hope it pays off. It will. Nezu chuckled as Izuku opened a large portal. See? Here he comes. Izuku emerged from the darkness with several extra limbs. In each hand he carried something, and the scene took shape as Izuku arranged a table, chairs, and tea set in the center of the ring of crowd of heroes had made around the scene. There! Now we've got the setting for a cordial conversation. Shall we? Izuku held out a seat for Lemillion. Mirio took the seat, and Izuku scooched him into the table as Yagi held a seat for Nezu to clamber into before taking one of his own. Now, we appreciate the help you have granted us, nobody. Nezu began preparing his teacup. We're all being civil here. Might as well call me Midoriya. Izuku shrugged.
Very well, Midoriya. You've helped us take down the Villains Alliance, but do not think that this absolves you of everything.
Nezu went on, pouring a cup of tea for himself.
You may not go by the name All for One, but you have inherited his power, and thus you remain culpable for many of his offenses as an accessory to his crimes.
Fair enough. I'm glad you aren't trying to pin all of his crimes on me as well, Izuku commented, taking a sniff of his own tea.
As an accessory, you are not subject to the same stringent punishment as All for One himself has been put under. However, the severity of the crimes you have helped to perpetrate are heinous in and of themselves, so you still face many charges that could land you in jail.
But the fact that we are talking means that you have an alternative offer.
I do.
At this, Lemillion spoke up. At this time, the only confrontations with heroes we are aware of have ended without violence on your end. Your reluctance to fight back and preference to escape rather than engage has been irritating, but ultimately shows that you hold no ill will towards heroes.
Further, you have acted to aid heroes.
Yagi spoke his piece.
And in doing so have displayed a contriteness that indicates that in some respects your actions as a villain were coerced. Your cooperation also helps to reduce the sentence that could be passed upon you.
Which is why we would like to offer you, instead of a trial and incarceration, several hundred hours of community service.
Nezu smiled sweetly at Izuku. I don't think the public would like that. Izuku commented, there would be an outcry for harsher punishment. He was keeping eyes on the tense ring of heroes that circled his table, using the swarm of cockroaches on the ground and crawling over his shoes, looking for signs of ambush.
That's true.
Yagi nodded.
And vigilantes might want to take it into their own hands.
Well, I'm sure we can put on a sham trial and incarcerate one of the clones you're so fond of,
Nezu responded. Alarm bells started ringing in Izuku's mind. He felt a prick from his ankle. He took his eyes off of Nezu and looked down to see a cockroach skittering away with a small syringe bullet strapped to its back. Empty.
That's how you're able to be here and at UA at the same time.
Izuku's eyes went wide as darkness descended upon the cathedral of his quirk space. The vaulting doors shut to him, all of his quirks suppressed. His eyes followed the cockroach, dodging between small pools of white goo that had once been Izuku's brood until it reached the massive mittens of UA's quiet student Koda Koji.
Isn't that right, Midoriya Izuku?